What we have for you this morning. Good morning, everyone, and thanks for staying tuned to TVC Breakfast. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has ordered the withdrawal of mobile police officers from VIPs across Nigeria. And this order was contained in a statement released by the spokesman of the Nigerian Police Force, Muyiwa Adejobi, who stated that the move is part of the reorganization of the mobile police force. The concern now is the diversion of police personnel to non-core roles, including escorts and guard duties for private individuals and VIPs, a trend which has undermined the unit's effectiveness.
Part of the statement includes, and I quote, "To address this, the IGP announced a series of measures, including the immediate withdrawal of the police mobile force personnel from unauthorized deployments, regular quarterly trainings focused on ethics and professionalism, and mandatory standby of fully equipped combat-ready units across all squadrons from rapid tactical support," and end of quote. According to the IGP, all PMF commanders will be held accountable for the conduct of their personnel. IGP Egbetokun, however, urged them to lead proactively through regular trainings, inspections, and mentorship aimed at upholding discipline, respect for human rights, and operational excellence. And for more on this move by the IGP, we will be joined by the Special Envoy to the Plateau State Governor on Peace and Security, Professor Chris Kwaja. He joins us in the studio this morning. It's good to have you, Professor.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Nigerians.
And also joining us from faraway United Kingdom, we have a global close protection analyst, Oluwafemi Aratokunwale. Thank you for joining us on the program, gentlemen. All right. I will begin with you, Professor. We've heard it before, police force being withdrawn from VIP, yet we see this taking little to no effect. These VIPs still maintain, the hold on this police officers. Where is this missing link, and why does it seem so difficult to enforce this kind of order? Is it on the part of the police officers being adamant to respect, this order, or the VIPs just seem too strong?
Police personnel cannot be adamant. Where they are adamant, it means there's a leadership failure. When you accept to be the Inspector General of Police, there are only 4 persons that you cannot arrest in this country: the President, the Vice President, Governor, and Deputy Governor. Yeah. Every other human being is under the IGP in this country. When you see a slide in policing, it's a function of the quality of leadership. That is the IGP, his DIGs, the AIGs, and the commissioners of police. If you cannot discharge the responsibility as contained in your letter of appointment, then you resign. That's the truth. You can't hold a country hostage. What the IGP did was to reverse to default setting. And what is the default setting on policing? The default setting on policing is that the mobile police unit is an elite squad trained to deal with internal security operations around issues of riots, issues of criminality, and all that, while the main police continue with the discharge of their primary duty of public safety. Unfortunately, we saw a withdrawal from that default setting to the extent that VIPs, both governmental and private, prioritized their own safety over public safety. They went to the same police leadership to get this MOPOL to be giving them protection. And they added the regular police. Unfortunately, we've seen in this country VIPs that are also using the military as VIP protection. It's a misnomer. It tells a story of dysfunctionality in the security architecture of this country.
Now, let's quickly go into the statement. One particular word there is troubling to me. It said unauthorized duties. Now, if you are withdrawing them from unauthorized, shouldn't there be sanction? Which means they went into those functions without permission?
The fact that the IGP used those words
Exactly.
means he indicted himself.
Exactly.
Because if I lead the police in this country, my leadership should be one that provide helicopter effect. I hover and see what is happening on the ground. That's my job. The DIGs, the AIGs are there as my lieutenants to ensure that what I have on paper as my vision in line with the constitution of this country is what is happening. But that's not what you see. And people have been talking about police reform. There are two sides to it. There is policing reform, there is police reform. Policing reform is one that targets the infrastructure of policing around what should be the focus of government on policing. Look at the way people are killed across this country. All these communities are by design supposed to have access to policing infrastructure. The infrastructure is not there. I recall the case in Kaduna during the IMN issue. A community in around the Zaria area called Gilesu, where they said for 10 years they did not see a policeman in their community. Was that a normal conversation? No. What did government do? Nothing. For me as the IG, this is something that I should be able to deal with. It means, how do I ensure boots on the ground in every community? Unfortunately, we still run this very colonial system of policing where the policemen and women are in secluded territories called police barracks. You can never achieve effective policing with police in barracks. The police is supposed to be part of the community. If my neighbor is a policeman, or in that community that is being attacked, policemen and women are also part of those communities. You will have a different understanding and ways of responding to this issue.
Well, I'd like you to hold your thoughts. Let's speak with Mr. Arato Kunale. Mr. Arato Kunale, are you there with us?
Yes, I'm really here with you.
All
and
right.
I've been listening to what my other colleague has been talking about as regards to police reform and the rest.
Yeah.
But I reserve my comments. Let me hear from you first.
All right. Well, I would like to take you up on this. The IGP said his efforts to reform the police are being frustrated by the officers behaving badly. Would you say that this is basically him saying, I've tried everything, nothing is working? If the top leadership feels helpless, then how can we salvage this situation?
Thank you so much for having this conversation with me today. Thank you, Mr. Shomomo. Thank you, Special Envoy to Plateau State, for being in the studio as well. Nigerians, I want to say something to you all. As far back as 1999, and I repeat again, as far back as 1999, we've always been talking about police reform. Let us see how best we can actually make our police more resourceful and useful to protect lives and property. However, when the current IG came into office, I recall very well, I was called into TVC studio in Lagos, and the first question was this: I'm going to withdraw back all police officers from VIPs and all the rest. Mr. Shomomo and those in the studio, let me remind you, Victoria happens to be the person that actually interviewed me, and I told her, we're still going to revisit this issue again. And here we are again, revisiting the same issue. The question is this: IGP might probably have the willpower to do it, but what about the politicians? Are they actually giving him the backing to do it? Is the
So are you saying the politicians are stronger than the Nigerian police force?
The special envoy in the studio with you, let me ask him a simple question directly. Sir, how many police protection do you personally have compared to the number of police in Plateau State? That is not where I'm going. We equally have a lot of Nigerians.
Are you saying that the politicians are stronger than the Nigerian police force? Can you clarify that statement before you proceed?
Excuse me?
I said, are you saying that the politicians and maybe those in power are stronger than the Nigerian police force?
Absolutely. The Nigerian politicians we have today are not going to give the police the chance to actually operate the way they want to operate. That is a fact. It's either we like it or not. You can actually do your research and look at it very well. How many times have we seen Nigerian police talking about the withdrawal of police officers from the VIPs? However, when we talk about police officers, remember we're still not talking about the military following civilians around. We're not talking about the naval officers following civilians around. We're not talking about the Air Force following naval civilian politicians around and the rest. So what I'm trying to let you understand is this. Police officers at the moment are completely overwhelmed, overstretched, and at the same time, they really don't have the directives of what they want to do. They are not really working according to how they are meant to work because politicians are actually rewrite on their neck.
Well, I asked you earlier.
I need social numbers to follow me around. And that is the problem we're
Mr.
having.
If you look
at the Nigerian police force we have today, what is the population?
Mr. Arato-Kunwale, I asked you earlier, the IGP admitted to his efforts to reform. Can I have your attention, please?
So how many do we have within the front line? How many do we have in each state?
Mr. Arato-Kunwale, please, can I have your attention? We're having a conversation, and I want this to be, quite robust, so we touch on all areas. I asked you a question. The IGP admitted to his efforts to reform the police force being frustrated by badly behaved police officers. Now, him admitting to this, where is the way forward? If the man at the top is saying that he seems helpless, what is the way forward?
The way forward is not to have any helpless statements right now, but let us have a political will to support the police officers. Our police officers are well-disciplined officers, but the question is this: what about the leadership? Are we leading the right way, or we're actually leading them towards just do whatever you want to do as long as I do whatever I want to do? So on a good day, the political will seems to be sliding away until we get a whole grip of what we're doing, until we can be open to ourselves that, we want our police officers to work the way we want them to work. We might likely not be heading anywhere in terms of police reforms and everything.
Okay, Mr. Arato.
We keep talking about training and training and training. When was the last time real frontline police officers were actually given the real training and given the right equipment to work with?
Now, Mr. Arato, let us take the discussion back to 1983, after just before 1983 coup, when the police force, as at that time I could remember that the police force was very strong, that even the mobile force, people give them this catchphrase, kill and go, describing how powerful they were. But eventually, from 83 till this moment, the funding of the police has not been something encouraging. And would you expect the Inspector General of Police to wield his power when the police force is not funded the way it should be?
Thank you so much. You see, when you mentioned the word kill and go, we all remember that word very well. And the same kill and go are the same set of people following the VIPs around, which are the mobile police officers. They've not really changed in the name they call them or in the name we see them to be. Perhaps some few reforms might have been done, but the question is this: yes, we have appointed IGPs, but the question is this: are they actually given the real right direction what to do without any interference? The question is this, and the answer to that is no. There's so much interference and there's so much going on in between the back end that we really don't know, that they are equally frustrated, they don't know what to do. So this is why we see so much happenings around VIPs, around politicians, around members of the public, around expatriates that we can't even give account for. We want our police to work, but are we really giving them the chance to work? Even if you look at the video or the screen you're showing us right now, are the police properly professional the way they are meant to be? No, they are not. That simply means we need to get a grip and a lot needs to be done. And for us to do so much, so much should be added to it, which is what community support must be there. And this is exactly why we're talking about this today.
All right, Mr. Kwaja, I would like to come to you with this question. The mobile police unit was created to handle serious internal security threat. Yet now we see the army doing more of that job. Does that mean the mobile police force can no longer handle the duties it was, created mandatorily for? Or what happened to their capacity and how can it be restored?
I still believe Mopol is better positioned, if resourced, to deliver on the security responsibility of the Nigerian police and also meet, to a large extent, the expectations of the people when it comes to personal and public safety. Police reform is a very simple thing to do.
You think so?
I think so. I believe it because I have participated in several policing-related work, not just in Nigeria, and I've seen how these things work. First is leadership. As the IG of police in this country, if you give me that job, if you frustrate me, I will resign. If you give me the job and you don't give me the free will to do the job, I will resign. So people must be able to develop that moral fiber to say no when the system is frustrating them. Now, you take on this job, your tenure ends, and you seek renewal of your tenure beyond even your age. So what are we talking about? It means he's not frustrated. It means he wants to do the job.
So he's just playing to the gallery.
He's just playing to the gallery. Because there is a contradiction now. Your tenure ended, the president extended your tenure. Why did he extend your tenure? And why did you accept it? You did that because you think you can do the job. If not, give way for other DIGs or AIGs to be appointed. So by accepting that tenure extension, which was even contested, the IGP owes Nigerians the duty of ensuring that policing works. If not, he should resign. That's one.
Okay.
Two, engage the VIPs. And how do you engage them? The moment you have a recruitment process that is undermined, and the moment you as the leader find yourself in bed with some of these politicians, either through kickbacks or some form of corruption, it becomes difficult for you to stand them when they speak. And we saw that with the off your mic thing in the National Assembly. Because both from the executive side and the National Assembly, they know themselves. How dare you go to the National Assembly and challenge the authority of a member House of Reps or a senator during public hearing? It means you know something people don't know. That's what we saw. If, as the IGP, I know that I'm doing my work professionally, I don't collect money from anybody, I don't give money to anybody, then I know that I can effectively control my men and women wherever they are. And I think Nigerians are watching what the IGP will do beyond mere statement. And I advise him strongly to go beyond just mere statement, to begin to look at how well these orders are respected.
Okay. We'll come back to you now. Mr. Aratukwale, you've heard the professor talk about the IGP accepting this job means that he's not overwhelmed. Do you share his perspective in what he has said so far?
Thank you so much, Professor Sylvester. Thank you so much, Nigerians, for listening to this very hot topic this morning. Professor, I want to share one thing with you. If the chaos should happen, are you ready to take responsibilities at all? I'm looking straight to you and asking you the question. Because withdrawing police officers and armed forces, or whichever way we call them, from VIPs, do you realize it's going to result to a serious catastrophe because we are not well prepared to withdraw them? If we withdraw them, the question I want to ask is this. Do we have a proper replacement or proper manpower to follow our expatriates and VIPs around in the country? Do you know the budget that is actually coming into the coffer of the police for having these VIPs or the protection they are having today? Yes, it might be little given to the main frontline officers protecting them, but what is the budget going into the police force itself? What I would rather advise is this to the IGP. Please, before you withdraw them, try to have your backup plan already in place in case if they should ask for it. Yes, I know Nigeria is volatile. Some areas are volatile at the moment, but please think very well about it before you act. I'm not saying don't do it. It's your job. You have your willpower to do it if you want to do it. But the question is this. If we start seeing people being kidnapped, people being, attacked one way or the other, all in the name of no protection for them. Professor Ogu, are you ready to take responsibility that your statement caused or led to this action happening?
Well, Mr.
Right now, what we should be
Let me
thinking about is this. What we should be thinking about is this. Why can't we have a recruitment process whereby we have enough close protection officers?
Well, Professor Wong would like to respond to you.
Why not have that? Let me inform him. Let me inform. This is
he would like to respond to you, so you should listen to him.
Listen.
This is people's life will not be at risk.
No. You are getting it wrong, and I need to inform him. And it's important for us when speaking about issues of this nature, we are conversant with the entire structure of that institution. Whatever I say here, I take full responsibility for it because I've studied the Nigerian police very well. I've been part of efforts advocating for police reform. There are 3 layers of this policing. The mobile police, the special protection units, you'll see them with a badge reading SPU. That category of police is specially for VIPs. Then we have the regular police. What we are dealing with now is a situation whereby the mobile police, the SPU, are all involved in VIP protection. It's a misnomer.
Oh no!
But Professor, I would like to ask you. A lot of these VIP,
a
lot of these VIP. Sorry, please, Mr. Arato, can you hold your thought? Let me
listen to me. I listen to you.
You're getting this whole thing.
The SPUs.
What we have right now.
Mr. Arato Kwale,
I think you need to respect my view. When you speak,
after he's commented,
yeah,
you can
Nigerians are listening. We need to educate Nigerians or sensitize them, and I think your listening to me would be helpful too.
All right.
The SPUs, I've never been given one. I was commissioner in Plateau. Even when a police personnel was sent to me, I said, go back. I don't believe I need one. And I've never had one in this country. I've never had one. The SPU is trained and armed. They are given all the requisite training on VIP protection. I know many of them to do that job. The MOPOL is not given any training on VIP protection. If you go to Goza, if you remember, that's where they are trained on irregular conflict or whatever you can imagine, criminality and all that. They are trained as a squad that can easily be deployed. They are called Rapid Response Squad of the police, not for VIPs. Because the VIP, the police recognize the fact that VIPs need police protection. And the SPU was established.
But Professor, I would like to ask you, we've seen some viral videos where we see the misuse of these police officers, some of these VIP turning them into errand boys and all the rest. Don't you think that there should be a system in place to checkmate, how these police officers operate under the VIP so that there is no stain on the integrity of the police force itself?
Part of what police reform should do is to look at all these issues. One, what is the current architecture of policing? How was it in the past? Where are we now? In the 21st century, what should be our vision of a Nigeria that is well policed? Both in terms of personnel, the resources needed, the kind of equipment needed. That's the question that a reform agenda should seek to answer. Now, in answering those questions, the misuse of the police will come up. How is the police being misused? How can we redirect the police to ensure that it's not misused? First, we say, okay, we have MOPOL. What should be the mandate of MOPOL? ABC. What does the MOPOL need in terms of personnel and other resources or equipment? We do that. VIPs. What should be the focus on VIP protection? This is what we have. Okay. Is it adequate? We do that. How do we deal with the everyday policing need of the people in the rural, semi-rural or semi-urban and urban areas? Okay. We deal with that. That's what reforms do. Okay.
I'll come back to you. Now, Mr. Aratwale, this police reform initiative that the IGP is pushing for, it's a fallout of the present situation where we have crisis in several states. And I was thinking that we also do have the Nigerian Civil Defense Force. And just, I think yesterday, they made a statement that about 80% of our schools are exposed. They are not protected. Now, if you have the Civil Defense Force that is also armed, you have the Nigerian police that is armed, you have VIPs asking for elite protection, is it possible we have a policy reform where the police are allowed to do the general work of protecting the public, and you take personnel probably from the civil defense to become, to protect VIPs and allow the police to protect the public? I'm just asking, is it possible to have an entire policy reform in that direction?
Absolutely. It's possible to have an entire police reform. And this is why we have the private security sector that can actually fill in the gap. And I want to say to Professor, thank you so much for correcting me that you don't even have any protection at all, which is a thumbs up for you. That means you are very proactive in whatever you do. But however, what I'm trying to let you guys understand is this. We can have different policing reform in terms of how we police, how we secure our religious areas, schools, businesses, markets, and our VIPs. Yes, our mobile police officers are not trained to be VIP escort officers. Let us get that right. Thank you for that. However, we have the SPU within the police sector that are meant to do this job. But sir, I want to ask you, what is the population there? How many of them are men? How many of them are women? What is their age range? Again, when was the last time they were actually trained? Who trained them in different states according to what is happening in different states as well? So these are key problems that we are actually facing, and these are problems that can be solved or resolved by private security sectors. We have them in Nigeria. We have many brilliant Nigerian professionals that can actually do this job. I have always been in Nigeria and I know my contribution towards it. I have seen governors come to UK, come to America without no single escort. Well, I have seen so many of them abroad, even senators and all the rest, no escort, nothing whatsoever, and they can live freely. So why can't we transport these ideas back to Nigeria and see how it's going to work? Yes, we have close protection officers abroad, and we know the set of people they do protect. But in Nigerian case, I think it has turned to abuse.
Well, Mr. Aratwale,
we have so
let's
much
talk
abuse
welfare.
That now police officers are now looking like whatever, I don't know what to call them, but we've really, really reduced their effort, their image, and their respect to nothing. So it is high time we repolish them and let them give back the glory of what we used to have in those days.
I like the part you just took now, because I would like to take you up on the welfare of the Nigerian police force. Many of these officers complain about poor pay, bad living conditions, and lack of proper equipment. Is this one of the main reasons why we keep seeing unprofessional conduct from these police officers? Would you say if better welfare is being provided for the Nigerian police force, then automatically we will have the problem solved?
That is a very $1 million question, and I believe everybody around the globe can actually answer the question. The fact is what is the pay rate of an ordinary police officer in Nigeria? What is the pay rate of an ordinary civil defense officer in Nigeria? What is the pay rate of other military officers in Nigeria? We're not talking about the senior officers, but the junior ones. What is their pay rate? That is where we need to start it from. Again, do we have any insurance for them, backing them up if they have any fallout during the confrontation of different attacks? We don't know. So these are the openness, these are the transparency we want to see happen at all. If at all it's going to happen right now, as the IGP is trying to talk tough on it. Yes, we have the police trust fund. Has it been really used the way it's meant to be used? The kind of equipment we use, are they 24/7 equipment? Are they 21st century equipment? Are they equipment that they can actually use readily available to combat any crime or any attack they might probably be facing? These are the key things that will make police officers want to just behave anyhow. Let us look at their living condition as well.
Okay,
their
Mr.
In what way are they actually living? Are they living the real life a police officer, global world, should live?
All right, Mr. Ale, thanks for that. Prof, you said earlier that the police, living in barrack is a colonial way of doing things. But also, if you look at the present welfare of police, whether they're barracks, it's nothing to write home about. The police already embarking on a reform of their various barracks. But the worry is, would those barracks be given to them just like the barracks is built by the government for the military personnel? Will it be barracks built by the government for the police, or given to private contractors to build for the police?
Now, I'd like to follow up with one quick question because we're running out of time. You heard when Mr. Aratokun spoke about the private security agencies also collaborating with the police force. Do you see this as also a veritable way to go? Should private sector partner with police force, to ensure more equipped security in the country?
I have done extensive research on the privatization of security in Africa, and I spent 6 years within the UN as the African representative on the working group on mercenaries and private military security companies. And one of the mandates given to us in the UN is to also study the infrastructure of security from the perspective of the role that the private sector is playing in providing security. What kind of legislation? The most robust legislation we have in the entire Africa today is in South Africa. Only. In Nigeria, you want to set up a private security company, you just go to civil defense and get registered. And they do what they call periodic checking and all that. But that's not how you manage a private security company. Because tomorrow, the same personnel of this company might be used for other means outside what their primary mandate is. The National Assembly need to look into that. There must be a law. And beyond the law, you also need to put in place strong framework for their operations. It's not just getting them to start in the UK and other countries where you have them. So a lot of work needs to be done in terms of where the needs are and how we want to deploy that tool of private security in the country. I still believe that, yes, the private security companies can play a major role in providing security. You pay for it. That's business. But that should not be given the kind of attention to the extent that we now weaken our own national policing infrastructure or security infrastructure. So that is one. Now, the whole question of barracks. I've traveled around many African countries, and part of the reform going on in these countries that had experience with British colonial rule like Nigeria is that they are also deconstructing this whole thing of separating the police from the citizens. The police, you see, there are three key institutions of government that must live with the people. The police, the hospitals, primary health care, and the courts, magistrate courts. These three. They must be with the people, not disconnected. If you have a primary health care system where it takes nothing less than 15 minutes, at most 30, to access primary health care, that is how you should do for the police. So a police reform agenda that is meant to be responsive and accountable must be designed along these pathways of ensuring efficiency and effectiveness in the delivery of the policing responsibility of the Nigerian state.
Well, Mr. Kwaja, must thank you so much for your time with us. And Mr. Arato Kwale, it was a pleasure speaking with you this morning. Thank you so much for your contributions.
Thank you so much for having me on the program. But just to let you know, before I leave, always remember, police is our friend. However, we have this quote coming up again very soon, 30 December. What is the Nigerian police going to do in terms of protecting those coming from abroad or from diaspora to come and rejoice and, have fun in Nigeria? Are they going to be providing police or private security sector?
So I think you're speaking for yourself there, because you're planning to come to Nigeria during the 30th December. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, at the end of the day, all of us just wants to feel safe. It's not just the VIPs, but also everyday Nigerians intend to feel safe. This topic isn't quite new. But we believe, having this kind of conversation will actually